Navigating the intricate landscape of modern dating and relationships can often feel like trying to crack a complex, top-secret code. One of the most bewildering and emotionally exhausting scenarios a woman can face is dealing with a guy who seems completely indifferent on the surface. Yet something deep in your gut tells you there is a profound connection simmering underneath. It leaves you trapped in a cycle of overthinking, constantly second-guessing yourself and wondering, is he actually ignoring me because he doesn't care? Or is he just playing it cool to protect his own ego? The truth is, human psychology is remarkably complex, and men frequently mask their truest, most intense feelings behind a calculated wall of nonchalance. There are countless psychological reasons why a man might pretend to ignore you even when he secretly cares about you deeply. For many men, it boils down to fear, specifically the fear of rejection, the fear of emotional vulnerability, or the fear of losing control over their own feelings. If he's been burned in past relationships, putting up a distant, untouchable front is a subconscious defense mechanism designed to protect his heart from getting hurt again. For others, it is a deliberate, tactical move to gauge your interest levels first, ensuring he won't look foolish. In some cases, it is a classic manifestation of social anxiety or awkwardness. He simply values your opinions so highly that he doesn't know how to approach you without making his feelings too obvious, so he chooses silence instead. This hot and cold behavior can be incredibly frustrating to decode, but human nature dictates that when a guy secretly cares, he cannot maintain the act of total indifference forever. Emotional suppression takes an immense amount of energy, and eventually, his subconscious mind will betray him. Micro-expressions, body language slip-ups, behavioral inconsistencies, and involuntary physical reactions will give him away every single time. He might look away the exact millisecond you catch him staring across a crowded room, or he might accidentally remember a tiny, insignificant detail you mentioned weeks ago in passing. It is all about learning how to read between the lines and noticing what he does rather than what he says. By understanding the subtle psychology behind his silence, you can easily distinguish between a guy who is genuinely uninterested and one who is just desperately trying to hide a massive crush. The catch and release eye contact. Whenever you walk into a room, his eyes naturally gravitate toward you because you are his visual focal point. However, the exact millisecond your eyes lock, a panic reflex sets in. He will abruptly snap his head away, suddenly finding his phone screen, his shoelaces, or a random spot on the wall intensely fascinating. This sudden, jerky movement is a dead giveaway. A guy who genuinely doesn't care would look away casually or naturally, whereas someone hiding a crush reacts as if they've been caught doing something illegal. His body language betrays him. While his face might be a mask of pure indifference, his subconscious mind is completely entirely focused on you. In psychology, the feet are considered the most honest part of the body because people rarely think to control them. Pay close attention to his posture. If his feet, hips, and shoulders are consistently pointed in your direction, even when he is actively talking to someone else across the room, it proves that you are his emotional center of gravity. He's a ghost online but present in real life. This is one of the most confusing mixed signals. He might take hours to reply to your text messages, leave you on read, or completely ignore your social media stories. Yet when you are both in the same room, you constantly find him positioning himself just a few feet away from you. He uses digital distance as an ego shield to avoid looking overly eager, but his physical behavior reveals his true, undeniable desire to be in your orbit. He remembers the tiny details. A man who is genuinely uninterested will let your casual comments go in one ear and out the other. A man who is pretending to ignore you, however, is secretly logging every syllable. Weeks after a passing conversation, he will casually bring up your exact coffee order, a specific childhood memory you mentioned, or the name of your childhood pet. Storing these minor, insignificant details requires active brain power and emotional investment. He listens intently when you think he is distracted. You might be talking to a group of people nearby while he appears, completely engrossed in his laptop or a conversation of his own. Don't be fooled. His ears are finely tuned to the frequency of your voice. If someone in your circle brings up a topic you just mentioned, or if you ask a general question to the room, he will suddenly chime in with the perfect answer, proving he was secretly hanging on your every word. He gets tense or quiet when you're around. Observe his energy levels before and after you enter his space. If he is usually loud, laughing, and boisterous with his friends, but suddenly freezes up, grows quiet, or clears his throat when you walk by, your presence is directly impacting his nervous system. This sudden social awkwardness or stiff posture happens because he is suddenly hyper-aware of how he looks, sounds, and acts around you. 7. He shows subtle signs of jealousy. He might try to act like you don't exist, but the moment another guy enters the picture and makes you laugh, his indifferent mask completely slips. Watch his facial expressions. He might scowl, cross his arms aggressively, abruptly leave the room, or suddenly try to interrupt the conversation with a cynical comment. He cares far too much to comfortably watch you give your attention and warmth to someone else. 8. He spends time with your friends. If his pride or fear of rejection keeps him from talking to you directly, he will subconsciously target the people closest to you. By becoming friendly with your best friends or co-workers, he achieves 2 goals at once. He secures an excuse to stay firmly embedded in your social circle, and he creates a safe pipeline to casually gather information about your dating life without ever having to risk asking you directly. 9. He defends you in your absence. A guy's protective instincts are a massive indicator of his true feelings. If someone in a group setting speaks poorly of you, doubts your abilities, or makes a dismissive comment while you aren't around, he will be the very first person to jump to your defense. Even if he barely speaks to you face to face, his internal loyalty to you overrides his desire to play it cool, and he won't tolerate anyone disrespecting you. 10. He looks for excuses to be near you. He might not initiate a conversation, but his physical tracking is undeniable. You'll constantly notice him standing near you at social gatherings, sitting at the exact same table in a crowded room, or magically walking down the same hallway just as you do. He wants the comfort of your physical proximity, even if his ego is currently blocking him from actually opening his mouth to speak to you. He shines when you praise him. Because he spends so much energy pretending he doesn't care, validation from you acts like fuel. On the rare occasion you pay him a genuine compliment or praise his work, his entire demeanor shifts. He might try to shrug it off with a cool nod or a dismissive joke, but you will notice an uncontrollable, repressed smile break through, and his confidence will skyrocket for the rest of the day. His friends act differently around you. A guy can hide his feelings from you, but he almost certainly vents or brags about you to his inner circle. Pay attention to how his friends react when you walk past them. If they suddenly nudge him in the ribs, whisper to each other, look directly at him, or go completely silent as you approach, it is because they know exactly how he secretly feels about you and are watching to see if he'll break his silence. He always helps you out begrudgingly. If you need a flat tire changed, a heavy box carried, or help understanding a complex problem, he will step up to do it. To keep up his detached persona, he might act like it's a massive chore, sigh heavily, or complain about the timing. However, actions speak louder than words. The very fact that he always shows up and gets the job done proves that your comfort and safety are a priority to him. He unconsciously mimics your actions. When 2 people share a strong hidden psychological bond, their brains engage in behavioral mirroring. If you cross your legs, lean your chin on your hand, or take a sip of your drink, watch his movements a few moments later. If he unconsciously shifts his body to mirror your exact posture and gestures, it is a biological indicator of deep subconscious attraction, comfort, and emotional alignment. The hot and cold cycle. This is the ultimate sign of an internal battle. One day he is incredibly sweet, helpful, and attentive. The next day, he completely freezes you out and acts like you're a stranger. This dizzying emotional whiplash happens because he feels he let his guard down too much the day before and showed too much vulnerability. To regain control of his ego, he aggressively pulls back the next day to overcompensate.